What is up, guys and gals? It's another day here on this pleasant planet of wherever the hell. Oh, look, there's a falling piece of debris. There it is right there. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen when that... It probably just goes into the periphery. It probably just repeats. Yep, never mind. I love little things like that in games, like those little tiny things you otherwise wouldn't notice that help set the stage for your future... Oh, wait, I forgot to pick up a thingy. Over here, giant skull chest. What contains you? Ah.
Genetic scan complete. Adeptus Astartes. Weapons authorization confirmed.
It's a little invasive. You'd think we were meeting up with the TSA. It'll only be someday. Watch. They'll be like, terrorists. We need to scan your DNA. Terrorist. Oh my god. Riding in an airplane is the worst experience ever, especially if you live in the Southwest, because we have this airline, and it's called Southwest Airline, and it is the most cheaply manufactured airline that has ever been constructed. For example, I'll tell a story here that I often tell. One time on Southwest Airlines, I was sitting on the wing section, not like on the wing, like I wasn't seated on the wing. They aren't necessarily that far. Hey, you, don't hit me while I'm talking about planes. But anyway, so you board, and I'm sitting on the window that looks at the wing, which is like, great, I don't get a view, whatever. It's just like a 2.5-hour flight down to Arizona anyways. Don't care. But on the wing, the entire time, there's this little bolt. There's a nut and a bolt. And I'm watching the bolt. The entire time I'm on this flight, the bolt just keeps turning left. And the whole time I'm thinking, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and that is definitely spinning left. And so, I keep waiting the entire time because I assume, in my headspace, because I'm terrified of flying, that this one bolt is probably holding on the wing. Like, that is the bolt right there that secures the integrity of the entire wing. It turned the entire flight, so I'm assuming the threading was pretty deep on it, or it was secured by something else underneath. But in any case, watching that little thing unscrew itself the entire flight was incredibly unpleasant. But Southwest Airlines sucks. They charge you like $1 to go on their flights, and it shows. Like, they don't give you drinks or peanuts even. You're just kind of there, and they cram you in a can with like 900 other people. So you're just like, with that guy that should have bought 2 seats but didn't. In any case, this is the time to talk about the airline business. Let's get on in here and smash us some orc. Looks like we're stuck in a little trench system here. I hear the sound of orc melee, the struggling grunt of an orc trying to apply his choppa.
Target that squig!
And the squig has now blown up more guardsmen. That's why you keep guardsmen around. As a space marine, you always want to surround yourself with at least 10 guardsmen, so that anytime it's convenient to the plotline to kill someone, it's not you. Because space marines do die. They are quite vulnerable to the old symptom known as death, but they're not quite as predisposed to it as Imperial Guardsmen are. Oh god, no, Squiggy, no! Squigs are one of my favorite animals, by the way. I think I'm gonna get a squig, like, I don't know, I would love to get like a squig plushie sometime, and just like leave it in my house somewhere. Because I think they're kind of adorable in a we're gonna eat your face sort of way. You can also use the squigs, as you saw, to launch viscera into the air and detonate around the rest of the greenskins around them. Take that, dropship. That's what you get. Got ourselves some grenades, which we can throw with the Q key. I'm gonna detonate that right there so that they don't have any defilade. And that one right there so that I blow up the guy that's back behind it. We'll get started on some of these cats. And blow that barrel up because I felt like I needed more explosions. The spirit of Michael Bay filled my soul. And in the issue of fan service, I must detonate more explosions for the Space Marines, and Sigma, and the Emperor, and something. And there are many other things that we could all praise. For Zinch! For Slanesh, yes. Indeed, for Slanesh. Although Slanesh has that odd tendency that, like, after you get what you want, you get consumed in a giant orgy of violence, so maybe not for... You know what? Grenades. And Shazowie. There it is. Let's blow up some of these greeny gits. And if I'm not mistaken, a knob should jump in pretty soon. And just when it seems like your life hasn't gotten any worse, there's a new knob you have to deal with. Sounds like a girlfriend problem to me. But then again, it could be somebody else's problem, I guess.
Dropship incoming!
There's got to be an achievement or something for blowing up loads and loads of people with a single grenade. Although I've probably already achieved it. So there's a couple of modes you can play in this game. I didn't really talk about what you could do in this game. It's got the standard storyline mode. But then, it's also got a survival mode, which I personally really like, where it's collabed. collab mode. I'm gonna switch guns here because I feel like it's probably necessary before this knob gets in here and tries to smash me in my noggin. In the interest of keeping my noodle in one piece, I'm gonna try and get away from him. He's stunned, so we're gonna get in here and execute him. And we've got to do this little joust for supremacy. And there it is. We've gone ahead and sawn his skull. We've basically sawed his jaw out of his face, because that's how Space Marines roll. We don't have any time for their nonsense.
We thought we were done for. Where is your commander, Guardsman?
Inside, but the door is sealed.
I believe they will let us through. Imperial Guard, we are Ultramarines. Open this door.
Space Marines.
They've all got the same face. That guy's got a cool helmet, but we know what happens to guys with cool helmets if you've ever played Gears of War.
Word from the second recce. Another horde of the Greenskins are headed here from the south. Damn corrections stuck a knife in Saul's throat.
Scout support sector 31 is completely bombed out. No survivors. Just bodies. Everywhere.
Reinforce their position, hold the line, and stay alive.
Aye, Lieutenant.
Bulk attack at Outpost Gala.
Thank the Emperor. 2nd Lieutenant Mira, 203rd Cadian Regiment.
Captain Titus, of the Ultramarines.
You are in command.
I'm all that's left, my lord. Unless my commanders rise from the grave. So far, they seem content to stay put.
Lieutenant, the scouts have returned to forward base.
How many?
2.
Damn. I sent out 10. That damn gun. We don't have the numbers to make an assault. And as you might have seen, it's shooting down all our support vessels.
That is why we are here. Leave the gun to us.
Come with me, then. I should warn you, my lords. We've got a slight orc problem down here.
Where are they all coming from?
Definitely beginning to think fan service. I mean, you've got the Ultramarines and the Cadians all within 20 minutes of each other in the gameplay. The Cadians are an extremely, extremely popular Imperial Guard regiment. If you don't know, very, very, very popular. And so this should be the Purity Seal of Fury.
Access authorized.
And with that, essentially, you now gain Fury every time you damage an enemy. Once the Fury meter is full, use T to enter Fury mode. All your close combat attacks are enhanced and you regain health. Fury mode drains the Fury meter, ending with the meter is empty. Fury mode is basically the shit.
What do you know of the Titans on this planet?
Only that our troops were sent to guard the Titan Invictus at Manufactorum Ajakis. That was 2 weeks ago, and we've lost contact with them.
We need to reach that Titan.
Your fastest route is across the rail bridge behind the gun complex. It leads directly to the western gate of the Manufactorum.
And so it's off towards the Manufactorum. If you're interested in the Imperial Guard, they do use artillery tactics. That tends to be if you take like World War I tactics and then you put them way, way, way into the future. That's essentially the Imperial Guard. They dig trenches, they have artillery. Although in the recent codices, from what I understand, they've kind of switched up their tactics a bit. Additionally, the Imperial Guard has a unit called Marbo as one of their heroes, which is basically Rambo in the future, and the second you deploy him to the battlefield, you can hear the sound of collective shorts being browned all across the play table. In any case, Marbo's a badass, and he calls down pie plates like a mofo, so that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do. You know what, I've got a chainsword, forget this. It's chainsword time. It's business time. I don't see anything useful over here now. You might be concerned at some point. Oh, she's coming with us. Interestingly enough. Okay. I didn't even know she was back behind us. It's all good. We could definitely use an Imperial Guard around to die just in case something goes wrong. I'd rather lose her than Leandros or Celandros or Theros or Duros or whatever the hell that other guy's name, Durex or whatever his name is. I don't know. In any case, there's some orcs over here, and I'm going to chainsword them because I can. Oh, and I'm gonna... Oh, there's a little... Oh, there's an end to the combo that does like a little stunny thing. Okay, so now that I know I have a stunny maneuver, I'm definitely going to be using that a little bit. Stunny maneuver. And there it goes. These Imperial Guards over here are being gnawed upon. I wouldn't think an Imperial Guard would taste very good. I don't feel like they get to see the showers or any sort of barracks of cleanliness in between any part of their deployment. However, the orcs are not choosy would be my assumption there. On this side, we have this poor bastard who just got hit by something like right across the dome, and now I'm going to man his heavy bolter. Although I suppose were we a female space marine, we could have womaned the bolter. But not the case, because our Lord and Savior Matt Ward won't allow female space marines. He did, however, give us the Sisters of Battle. Although I'm not quite sure they're the same thing. As you can see, this heavy bolter is often wielded by Devastator Marines, but in this case it's just kind of hanging out on a tripod to handle the enemy. And in just a moment, you can see right there, it says Mouse 2, you can tear this bad boy off, which is precisely what I'm going to do as we advance into the future. You're coming with me, heavy bolter.
Trenches beyond the ruins, and the battlements beyond that.
And the gun battery.
The orcs took it almost as soon as we got here, nearly 2 weeks ago. Our unit was the only one to make landfall before they gained control. Now none of our ships can get past the gun.
Yep. We have upgraded firepower. We have definitely compensated for all of our shortcomings, and now carrying this enormous gun, I feel like all that is man. So let us puncture the enemy. If you're wondering what a bolter is, we can talk about bolters for a minute. A bolter is essentially like a mechanized rocket launcher. It's an automatic rocket launcher is how I've had it described to me, or like an automatic grenade launcher. Every single bullet that comes out of a bolter, so that right there, every single one of those is a water bottle sized explosive that basically explodes. Well, I mean, that pretty much, it's in the name of the thing. It explodes the moment it makes contact with anything I fire it at. Pretty badass. You little git, you ain't getting away. You thought you were getting... I didn't tell you to throw away the gun. We weren't out of... Hey, we weren't out of ammo. I want that. I want that to be in my hand, not...
Weapons authorization confirmed. Access granted.
This modified bolter, equipped with targeter and high-accuracy shells, is able to fell enemies from great distances. The Stalker bolter functions equally well as a precision battle rifle or a sniper weapon. Cool. I remember using this in the multiplayer mode, which allowed you to kill other Space Marines, where it was chaos versus normal Space Marines.
That's where the orcs breached the gun battery. We haven't been able to make it inside the wall. There just aren't enough of us.
You have survived this long on your own, Lieutenant. You have done well. But you are no longer alone. We will retake the gun. You will get your reinforcements.
I'll hold you to that, Captain.
How hard would it be to get that armor off to drop a deuce in the middle of the battlefield? That seems like a primary concern for me.
Command post, Captain. Good luck. Section 29, 30.
Well then, I don't even remember what I was talking about in the first place. Oh yes, we picked up the Stalker bolter. So this bolter has some definite problems with its ex-girlfriends. It's definitely no stranger to a holding cell. However, what it allows us to do is snipe, and so we've now entered into the bane of most first-person and third-person shooters, which is indeed sniping. But I found in this game, it's not necessarily too powerful, but it is pretty useful within the confines of the normal campaign gameplay. Let me see if I can... Oh, nope, I missed. And I missed again. Got that one, though. And got that one. Not a headshot. I was preferring the headshot. I definitely wanted to take them down a little notch. Kind of trim a few inches off their brow, because the orcs have this weird, like, prognathic thing going on. And so I was hoping that I could kind of either reduce their jaw jut or something else. I think in this part, you'll forgive me, I have trouble with like colors and things like that. Everything's kind of a drab, destroyed color in this game. I think we go this way, as I recall from playing the game previously. And now that we're in close quarters, I'm going to give myself a little bit of automatic fire, just in case, so that I can hip fire the hell out of them if I have to. I always thought it would be awesome to have a weapon in like a comedic video game that all you could do is hip fire with it, and it was like a machine gun that was on your hip. But then again, I suppose that might be too punny and stupid. Those are the kinds of ideas I have late in the night when I contemplate my own video games. that I would make if I had any skill or, you know, talent or any of those things that preclude you into the video gaming genre. Artistic integrity, all that fun stuff, you know. Oh, you messed up now, little gits. You messed up now. Picked a long time to loot them bits. That's all the orcs really care about, is looting bits and fighting. All of their armor is made out of bits that they've stolen from other locations. And every time they fight, they get a little beefcakier. And they fight with each other just as much as they fight with us. So you've got to admit that it's sort of like a what goes around comes around sort of. It's not like they're only picking on humans. Orcs beat each other up just the same. If there's nobody else around to fight, they will definitely have no qualms with killing each other.
Once we get through these battlements, we will use the breach caused by the rock to enter the gun fortress.
There's a fight now!
Let's keep on rolling, because I always feel like I don't get enough time with you guys in these episodes, and I really kind of want to... the hell is that? It's got a fiery chainsword or something, like a fiery chain knife. Down he goes. I don't think there's anything else over here. I think there's some ammunition back behind this wall. Yeah, there's some nades. Don't really need them because I don't use nades that much unless I'm really kind of trying to flush the enemy out. If we're definitely in like a toilet bowl situation where things are circling the drain, we'll try and flush people, but up until that point I tend to conserve my grenades. We have some generic ammunition over here though. I'm gonna swap back. Yeah, let's Stalker Bolt for a little bit. You can't hip fire. The Stalker Voltar is pretty sweet for hip firing as well. And you'll forgive me as I suppress a hiccup right there. I get hiccups so much when I'm talking and doing LPs. I don't know why. Something about my diaphragm just gets kind of angry at the fact that I'm trying to play video games and talk with you guys, and it starts rebelling. Bunch of orcs coming over the top side. I'm gonna throw a grenade out, and hopefully it does some good. I've aimed it improperly though. But I guess you get points for trying, maybe. That seems like more of a thing that the Imperial Guard might implement, like points for trying. Space Marines, I don't feel like you get those. Let's continue our melee ruckus over here and knock down some enemies with some chainswordy action, saw them in half, and leave them in bits and pieces, and then we shall activate this door. Just a word of warning, don't ever install one of these creepy skull doors next to your apartment. You will never bring a date home again. Just a word of warning from personal experience. I thought that I was a Warhammer 40k fan until it started negatively affecting my romantic life. And then I was like, well, this leaves me with a quandary. And then I decided just to be nerdy and be like, eh, whatever. I don't like her that much anyways.
These cables.
They must be powering orc contraptions across the battlefield.
And so, this is definitely, if you found like the electrician on staff, I would say that this is probably not structurally approved. This is looking very, very unsafe. Luckily, our suits are grounded so we can walk across them and it's not going to affect us. But Imperial Guardsmen, this room would be a death trap for them. They'd walk in and like 4,000 of them would die just walking across the cables. Just, ah! It would get ugly.
Assault support pods were dropped in this area.
Oh, really? Hello there, my dear. When in flight, tap mouse 2 to blast to the ground, killing or stunning most enemy targets. Ranged weapons are limited to the bolt pistol and bolter while wearing a jump pack. Whee! Alright, so I remember this as well. I definitely remember this weapon. Let's see what we can track down. So what this is going to allow me to do is I do like this little... I suppose it's like the butt stomp of the game. So you know how Mario does his butt stomp? It's essentially that. Just we have a lot more violence and gore to go along with it. I'm going to jump my way on into here. And you can also use it to get around the battlefield a little bit quicker too. We're going to watch the high ground. And there are a lot of rocket soldiers out here. So I'm going to try and get rid of them because they hurt like hell. And we're going to go ahead and curb stomp him. Definitely getting some kind of ridiculous violence on there. Knock him down, then let him have it. And then we've got other enemies to deal with here. Let's go ahead and drop on him, I guess. And we've taken out 2 of them in that case. Put a couple rounds on him. Just to make sure that he doesn't point blank shoot us with a rocket, because that is definitely an orky tactic. Point blanking somebody with a rocket, God. It might kill me, but it'll kill you too, you kid. Space Marine. Oh God, no, please stop. Alright, so now we've got them. What we need to do now is execute somebody so we can get some health back. So then we're going to saw his guts out, or I don't know what we did like right there. It looked like we were kind of sawing away at the willy region. So I suppose we might call that the Imperial Willy Whacker if we wanted to give the attack a name. I'm gonna drop on him, but I think it's gonna detonate those barrels, which, yeah, made our ears ring, unfortunately. Right over here, they could use some help. Ooh, and that was the one right there. That was definitely the Neo of all drop stomps. I'm gonna get this guy. I thought I got everybody up here, but maybe I missed him. And so another Imperial Willy Whacker. I don't even know if orcs have that appendage. From what I understand, when they die, they just poof into a bunch of spores, and then a bajillion more orcs spawn from wherever he was killed, which is a pretty neat mechanism for reproduction. That definitely would make you difficult to clear out in an invasion situation. Definitely an evolutionary advantage. Let's go ahead and push the button over here once we're done annihilating our foes, and see what's waiting for. Oh, more Space Marine mashing orcs. Ow. Oh, I hit the button too softly. No! Allow me to launch. There we are. So down the enemy goes. I don't think there's anybody else over here. I think we've pretty much weeded them out. And if I don't get them, Leandros and the other medieval sounding name guy probably will. So I'm gonna cruise on over to here. Oh, there are a few left. Well, there's one left. Shouldn't matter. Down those guys go. I don't really need the health, so I'm gonna leave the remainder stunned. I don't like dealing with remainders anyways. It's the reason I had to repeat the first grade like 400 times. I let you live and you're gonna run at me like that? How you gonna do that? How you gonna do that, orc? I was a kind smurf. I was the type of smurf you hope you meet on the street. And yet, you've decided to throw it back in my face. To shun me, in essence. I don't even know what happened right there. Pushing buttons too rapidly. And in the interest of... Oh, curb stomp. Never mind, we're going to drop stomp him. Down he goes. I wanted to do the Willy Whacker, but drop stomp it is. Ooh, missed me with a rocket launcher shot right up and down my grill. At the same time, too, which is pretty impressive. I mean, it can be up in your grill and it can go down your grill, but if you could accomplish both simultaneously. Alright. So it appears as though we're going to be doing a little bit of spelunking.
No room for that jump pack, Captain.
Seems like a bit of a waste.
Delivered the orcs right into the gun fortress.
From what I understand, the Space Marines are always hurting for new technology, and so leaving it behind like that doesn't seem like the best advised tactic, especially when there's orcs around who can basically tear up anything and turn it into anything. But I think I'm going to break off the episode here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me in the Nerd Castle for another episode of Warhammer 40k Space Marine. I look forward to playing the game with you guys tomorrow, rambling a little bit, and talking shop. Take care out there, everybody, and hi-do.